that will allow them to actually have a meaningful impact in the community. But they have been very cooperative. But Minister, late last year, I wrote a letter to you, the Minister of National Security, and the Minister of Finance. And this, of course, you know where I'm going. This has to do with the security officers. And I did receive a response from the Minister of National Security saying that it was your responsibility and not his. I received a letter also from the Minister of Finance saying it was your responsibility and not his. To date, I have not received a response from you. I have not taken it personally because I also heard the security guards complaining that you have also ignored them as well. Now, bear in mind, I've written you several letters. I mentioned that one that you have not responded to because you have responded to, I think, 2 of the others. This is around 1 meeting with the security guards and 2 around the call for the Joint Industrial Council for the industrial security industry. I believe it is really very important, and along with that, it touches some other things. It is about contract workers and how we protect them. It is about those individuals who are working under similar circumstances as the security guards and how we make sure that they can actually access workers' rights that have been hard fought and won by the union movement in Jamaica. And the last time we met, I think under similar circumstances, I did suggest to you, Minister, that it would be good to actually meet with the security guards. You haven't paid them much mind until now, but I am going to ask of you, meet with them.
Do they have
I think that their voices are not being heard. And I believe that it is important for the line minister. The Minister of Finance came and said what the government was going to do. But it is important for the line minister to meet with them to make sure that they can feel as if their voices are heard and that they're being listened to. I think it's important. So I want to call to ask you to do that.
Well, anybody who knows the way I operate knows that there's no such thing as somebody in need at any level that requires a meeting with me that doesn't get it. What I have to be cautious about is that in an environment of obvious disquiet, where everyone is looking for their own interests, trying to promote their own interests, try to grow a union or try to grow a group that will represent everybody and liberate them, right? I have to be careful that I do not squander the time that can be spent more constructively. And I must tell you what I mean by that. What I mean by that is I don't know at the moment as I speak of a specific established organized group called the Security Guards Union or Security Guards organization. I don't know of such a group. What I do know of, and what we have spent a lot of time dealing with, is to have the establishment of a joint industrial council. And in this regard, you know, through the Labour Advisory Council, I've established a core committee that is headed by the president of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions. Now, this is an established structure, headed by someone of great integrity, someone who I personally have a lot of respect for. The NWU, BITU, Jamaica Employers Federation, the Jamaica Association for Private Security. I have met with those people and had continuous discussion with them, regularly. I have, so far, I must say, one of the things that I pride myself in is that I've forged a relationship with the trade union movement of this country that enables me to make calls at sometimes Sundays at night, all hours of the day and night, anything. Whenever there is a trade union issue, I feel absolutely free to call on any of these organization heads both private sector and unions, for advice, for direction, for support, for guidance. And I made it clear when I came to the ministry, I said, other than being an executive for a company in Jamaica and sitting at a table in the old days, I'm not a trade union man.
Minister, I'm pained and disappointed with your response.
I've learned the craft, I believe, and I learn it easily because I empathize with the process and I support the process. So for anyone to suggest that they have been trying to get hold of me, I saw you communicated with me and you have a private member's motion.
I do as well.
Yeah, but
which I have no, Minister, I'm going to tell you. I have seen how this parliament has dealt with private members' motions. I have no confidence that it will come to the light of day unless the timing suits the government. No, I'm going to tell you straight up.
You're wrong.
Straight up.
You're wrong.
Straight up. I've placed one there and I have no confidence. But I'm going to tell you why I am concerned, Minister, and why I'm pained by your response. The first thing is to remember that the industrial security industry, as we speak, does not have in the same way organized unions. And we know the history of it. The history of it is that the fact that they could come out and speak, I believe, is a testament to their courage. Because to open their mouth about any condition is to imperil their working status.
Can you help me? Who is the they?
I'm not going to call the names here. I can tell you.
What's the organization?
Some of them have come and they have protested. They have been there. A group has written to you. I don't remember their name. Minister, let me tell you.
Please. I have exposed in no uncertain, possibly in an unparalleled way, I have exposed the operations that guide us. I'm asking you simply to expose the names of the organization you are referring to.
Minister, you can't determine how I answer your question. You have asked the question, I'm going to answer it, but you cannot determine.
You cannot. A group that you can't.
And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Allow me.
It's propaganda.
It's not.
It's Minister,
I'm going to tell you, honestly.
There's no question, and I will not yield that one.
No, Minister, I'm going to ask you to give me the same privilege that I allowed you and I listened. I'm going to ask you to listen as well. And let me tell you why I'm pained, why I'm disappointed, and let me tell you what I'm talking about in terms of who should be at the table. So the group that you have outlined are a number of unions. That's fine. I have no difficulty with that.
And
they understand.
And you're very familiar.
Very familiar with them. And they are individuals that I have the greatest of respect for. At the same time, the only voice there that truly represents the industrial security industry are from the companies themselves, because they do not represent the workers.
That is abject.
Minister,
that's not true.
I am not asking about it.
That is not true.
I have very, very, very close ties with the industry.
How does a company survive? How does a company survive without a harmonious relationship with your employees? How does a company survive? By the way, the Ministry of Labour...
Minister, Madam Speaker, I have been attempting to respond to the Minister and I'm not being allowed.
Go ahead.
I have no intention of speaking over the Minister.
Go ahead.
Because I have too much respect for you.
But you must speak straightforward and
I am being straightforward.
You can't be misleading.
I am not misleading. I am not misleading because I know you or those who report to you listen to the news as much as I do. I know that the rest of Jamaica will know what I'm talking about.
You abuse me on a
I have
platform.
never abused you. I have never abused you.
And you took it down.
Took down what?
What you said at the meeting. After the Canadian situation.
No, Minister.
So don't think I have forgotten it.
No, Minister, I have said nothing that is wrong, and I have taken back nothing I have said in terms of the Canadian program. I have asked for a couple of things.
Ask your
I have
leader.
asked
Ask your
one,
leader with whom I spoke.
I have asked one for you to heed the requests that have been made to you to meet
From
with
who?
individuals who
I will meet with
have.
you, but I'm not going to meet with somebody who has no foundation.
There are at least 2 groups that currently exist.
Name
There are
one.
new groups.
Name one.
One of them with at least 200 members and another
Name
one.
the
They
head of
exist.
it.
I think I understand what the member is saying, but if you are asking the minister to do something, at least guide him and say Group A. I understand what you're saying, but it is difficult in here.
No, Madam
to
Speaker, I'll
ask
name
him.
one. I'll name
Please.
one. Mr. Teddylee Gray, who you should know very well, and I name him for more than one reason, yes, as an individual, has been at pains. He has been part of the leading demonstrations and protests. He has been part of pulling together a number of workers. He's not the only one. He's not the only one, but I know why I've named him, right? That's one. I've also placed on the table, though, thank you. I've also placed on the table the re-establishment of the joint industrial council for the industry.
You put on the table that?
I put on it in the question that I asked.
I just advise you that.
No, Minister, the letter that I wrote to the 2 ministers who responded to me and the one that you did not was to ask for that. And
You
was...
called for that after you heard we were doing it?
No, absolutely not. This has been a long time ago. Long before it was because I did not hear why I brought the motion to Parliament. I don't have any operatives working with you to come and tell me what you're doing. I did it because the unions have been calling for it. Mr. Vincent Morrison has been consistent in calling for it, not just this year, not just last year, but for years. I heard him make the call and I joined the call and others did. And what I'm asking, Minister, is where are you with that? And is that reflected in the budget that you have?
Let me clarify something for you. Right? The Ministry of Labour gets involved in issues when there's a dispute. When a dispute arrives at the ministry, the Ministry of Labour has always held the view that every employee as a security guard is an employee in the strictest sense of the word, not an independent worker. He's an employee. We have always maintained that stance. And until a matter is reached the level of an abuse or it becomes necessary to resolve it at the ministry, we are fully equipped and ready and willing to do that. But I don't go out hunting down people who want a voice on a matter that is already being managed by the largest and most powerful set of union leaders in the country. So if you're promoting somebody who wants to come into that circuit, tell them to take a different route.
Minister, for you to suggest that the ministry sees each security guard as a worker, and therefore...
That's not a speculation, that's a fact.
But it's not, because it has taken a ruling by Justice Butts. No.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I know that is NHT. I know. The point I'm making is that could not be true when it had to take a court ruling for us to get to a point where some security companies are being asked now to treat them as workers because they had not been treating them before. They have not been treating them before. We are calling for that. It was the Minister of Finance who stood in this house and who said that the government is meeting with those providers of security services to ask them to make sure that these provisions are adhered to. I then asked if people working with government are going to be afforded that. What about those in private business? So don't say that. It is one of the areas that all of us have ignored for years. And we have allowed for the exploitation of Jamaican workers.
Oh, come off for the platform.
Members,
oh,
Minister,
man, we went along
just a
well.
moment.
Come off the foolish little cheap platform.
Minister, member, I am going to ask us to bring this one to a close. There is a private member's motion on the order paper. That is it, and I'm not going to allow for the committee examining what the estimates for this year to be treated in this fashion. So, having said that, I am going to ask the member to halt on that and continue with her questions in relation.
But, Madam Chair, if I might enlighten this
beg your pardon?
This honourable committee, the person that she has referred to, the gentleman whose name she called, Teddylee Gray, has never, ever requested a meeting at the Ministry of Labour. Never.
I'm not hearing you.
She wants me to meet with him on the side of the road. It's nonsense. And you know that, Tony, don't support nonsense.
I really think that I'm going to hold this discussion strictly to the questions of it, because when you call the name of members in here, they cannot respond in any way. So, my ruling here now is that we stick to what is in front of us, ask the minister the questions relating to the budget. And I also know that it's a planning, I've heard that, and we're looking at how, but we are now going to look at the budget. I'm not going to allow anybody to bring the name that way. I thought you were doing a group, I hear a name. We can't, the person cannot. Let us ask the minister the questions relating to the budget, page and number.
Yeah, but before we leave that, Madam Chair, if he wants representation...
Mr. Sam, I'm going to ask you, just leave
No, but it's an important point, if I do with respect. It is important. Nobody that wishes to establish themselves as a group, an organized group, representing a group of workers, they must do it properly. Anybody can write the minister and say, I want to meet with you. Minister's responsibility is to act responsibly. And you can't just pick up anybody who wants to write you and say, I want to come see you.
You are correct, Minister. So now, let us move to the pages, what we have in the budget and the questions.
Madam Speaker, regardless of the comment made by the member, which I will ignore, because I know who has sent me here, the member who said that him don't want to hear nothing more.
I'm not hearing
that member.
Address your questions to me as the chairman, and let us have an orderly session.
Madam Speaker.
You know, member.
I'm not continuing the conversation, Madam Speaker. Good. I have always respected your ruling, and when I think you are wrong, I'll say it whether I agree or disagree. But I respect your authority that is there. I just wanted to say to you that was the reason why I had hesitated and did not want to call a name, because I thought it would have descended thus. I was prevailed upon, and against my better judgment I did, and there you go. Madam Chair, I'm going to leave that there, because we will have more time later on during the year to have those conversations. A question that I wanted to ask, now that the public sector workers are enjoying the 60 days maternity leave,